Good evening and welcome to another in our TalkSports program where we actually speak with the sportsmen and sportswomen as well as administrators past and present. Well, on this evening's program, our special guest, and I say guest because we do have more than one, and our focus will be on cricket and in this respect, Windward Islands cricket. So our guest on the program will be the head coach, Mr. Andrew Richardson. We have the assistant coach, Devon Smith, the assistant coach with concentration on batting. And we also have Kimani Melius, who is a member of the Windward Islands Volcanoes team. And the young Kimani will join us. Devon Smith will also join us, and the coach will also be part of the setup later on. Well, as you know, the cricket, that's the regional cricket, the 50 overs, that's a limited overs segment of the cricket. It actually kicks off on February 7th. Well, actually, it's Independence Day for Grenada. So that's the Cricket West Indies 50 over tournament bowls off in Antigua next month. And it's actually a rescheduled fixture because of the COVID. They have actually rescheduled the entire tournament. And the Windward Islands Volcanoes, they will be opening their tournament. They'll be opening the tournament that's in the Super50 Cup with a clash against perennial rivals, the Leeward Islands Hurricanes. And that will be on Sunday, February 7th. And we hoping that our guests will be able to give us all that is needed in terms of the preparations for the Windwards. As you know, it has been the first time in a very long time, the Windward settings in terms of the volcanoes, they have been under intense preparation. You know, many years ago, as you know, it just used to be the guys meeting, whether it's in St. Lucia, St. Vincent, Dominica, Grenada, a day or two before the tournament. Now they actually camping, and they have been together for months, you know, in some cases weeks, depending on how they travel and things like that. So, and especially with the COVID, most of the players have been basically being quarantined. So Devon Smith, obviously, as a veteran in the whole setup, will be able to, you know, tell us all about that. But in the interim, let me actually welcome these gentlemen. As we said, we have Devon, we also have Kimani, and we have Andrew, who is waiting to come on. But first of all, let me welcome Devon onto the program. Devon, good evening and welcome. Your first time on the program. Good evening to you.
Good evening, Bascom. It's good to be on the program.
Right. Well, it's actually nice to hear from you, Devon, and I hope everything is going well.
Yeah, everything is going fine for the time, for the meanwhile.
Well, good to hear that. And at the same time, let me welcome also Kimani.
Hi, good night.
Good night to you. And I should say welcome to Grenada and welcome to the program as well.
Yeah, thanks. I really appreciate it.
Right. Well, we're still waiting on the coach is still trying to get his thing organized. But as we see, the guys are actually on, and we should have the coach in a moment. As soon as he's ready. But let's start off with Devon. Devon, how preparations have been going for the Volcanoes leading up to the Super50 Cup?
It's good. It's good preparation. The guys are really working hard, putting out the effort. We start training. We have a couple of practice games. So far, the guys look like they're really ready for the tournament.
Okay. And I know to an extent, Devon, and as I indicated in the introduction, it's probably the first time in a very long time that you guys have been under this sort of intense preparation for a tournament involving the Windward Islands team.
Yeah, it's true. As you know, the Volcanoes move on to Grenada now. The Windward Volcanoes. So we have enough time, to really prepare ourselves for the tournament. I mean, the guys go home for the Christmas and come in just before New Year's Day, which is really tough for the guys, to leave your family and come. But I mean, at the end of the day, that's your job. So, the guys are really looking forward to it and really working hard as a unit.
Okay. Well, it's good to hear that. And Kimani, as the young person, the young guy, and he's smiling, the young one in the midst, in terms of how has been the experience of being in a structure as that with those guys, including Devon and others who have had this, years of experience in the setup. How it has been going for you, Kimani?
I must say it has been a great learning experience being with the Windward Islands Volcanoes, especially learning from Devon Smith. I'm an opener, he's an opener as well, so I seek as much feedback as possible from him and try to better my game as I go on.
Okay, well, that's so much pleasant to hear from you, and giving some kudos to Devon and company. But the entire experience in Grenada, and now that you're into the senior fold, I know you have played under 19, and but what it is like in terms of the experience playing in the senior tournament now.
Like I said, it has been a great learning experience for me. It's not my first time playing in the Super 50. I've represented the West Indies emerging team before. So now I wouldn't say it has anything to do with age. I believe age is just a number. It's just about me going out there and executing for my team and trying my best as possible to be consistent at that level for as long as possible.
Okay. Devon, the 50 tournament this year, so your concentration will be on coaching, as the assistant coach, particularly with batting. What's the whole thought pattern in terms of getting as part of the coaching setup for the Windward Volcanoes?
Well, to be honest, it's just a matter of whole mental. I mean, 75% of the game, is in your head. The next 25%, is the skills. So I'm trying to get the guys, as focused as possible, to be mentally strong, to be a better player, or better players, I should say. How to go about batting. There's different teams, different strategy for different players. So how you can really go about and be mentally prepared, mentally tough, for the job at hand. But so far, the guys are, as I said, really going out there and really putting 100%. We have a couple warm-up games, which you guys played, and wherever they fall short, they really come and give feedback, the reason why they should do this or the reason why they should do that, and look to better the game. So with me being there, just looking on and trying, see if I can help them whatever way it's possible.
Mm-hmm. But the whole coaching aspect of it, Devon, I mean, is it something that you aspire in terms of being a coach?
Well, I think it's something like would be just like natural. I mean, I played for so long, for so many years. I have so much experience. I mean, there is nothing in the game. I don't think that it should really bother me in terms of being a coach. Also, but I mean, after one is the next. Being with the guys still is a plus. Sharing my knowledge with the guys. Is a plus for them. As young Kimani said, he really looking forward to work with me and whatever. And I've been working with him from ever since. He's somebody who I really admire in terms of his commitment, and he's really willing to learn and to go the extra mile.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Kimani, as one who, as you indicated, some level of experience in terms of the Super 50 Cup, playing for the emerging team. The matchup against the opening game against the Leeward Islands. What fans can really expect, and I say fans because, as you know, because of COVID and all the quarantine, there may not be many fans in the stand, so there may be many fans watching. What can we look forward to with the for the Windward Islands Volcanoes, especially at the opening game against the Leeward Islands Hurricanes?
I personally we wouldn't look too far forward. It's just a matter of the team executing their plans and sticking to the game plan for long periods, bowlers knowing what they should do, knowing the line and length, the areas, the fields, and sticking to it for as long as possible. And also the batters building batting partnership. And one of the top four, like the coaches have mentioned on several occasions, must bat till the 40th or 45th over.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, go ahead.
No, continue.
Oh, okay. Yes, I was asking you. So, specifically, what would you say was the focus? And speaking on, I mean, in your context, what was the focus of in terms of the preparation? What was the concentration like for you in terms of the concentration, especially as an opening batsman?
Me personally, I've been getting lots of stats, but I have failed to carry on several times. So that's something that I've been working on. Like I said, I've been speaking to Devon because he have had an illustrious career at the first class level. So I try to learn as much as possible from him and try to bring it into my game. But like I said, it's more mentally. Like Devon rightfully said, it's more mentally than anything.
Mm-hmm. And Devon, from your standpoint, especially as now as a assistant coach with concentration for batting, what it was like in terms of preparing the guys for the tournament?
It's good. The guys are really focused. Really want to do well. It's just the basics. It's how you how you're really prepared for a tournament. To really carry forward. We have been doing a lot of fitness. Recently we are doing a lot of batting and bowling game scenarios. So it's just a matter of mental prepared mentally. And we just go there and perform. But so far, as I said, we have a couple of youngsters in the team. We have young Alec, Antones, have been there for a little while now. And so far, we have a very young team, who really willing to go there and perform to the best of their ability. So, as I said, 75% is mental. So,
yeah, and while you have been calling some names there as well, who are the other players that fans can look forward to for the Windwards, especially those who probably maybe out probably for the first time?
Pardon me, I didn't hear the question.
No, some of the players that fans can look forward to representing the Volcanoes, including those who may be out for the first time.
To be honest, we don't have majority of the players is already been there before. Not because they're really young, doesn't mean to say that it's the first time, but we have, as I said, we have young Short, who really do well last year. Looking forward for him to continue his performance this year. So far he get a couple half centuries in the warm-up games. So we have Preston, who is back, was on the Western District before. So we have a couple of players we could really look forward to.
Devon, is it so much a challenge now to select a Windward's Volcanoes team with so much talent from the islands, especially Grenada, for example, with so many players? I'm certain St. Lucia, Dominica, and St. Vincent will have a number of emerging players as well. How difficult it is to come up with, a team to represent the Volcanoes for the Super50 Cup?
Well, to be honest, Bascom, well, it's up to the selectors, As you say, you have a lot of talented players, emerging players who we can pick from. But at the end of the day, is what the selectors really looking for, and is what they see in the players. So to be honest, is out of my control. I could only give advice. But at the end of the day, it's up to the selectors to really pick. Who they see fit to play the 50 overs.
And you will be concentrating specifically on the longer version, the 40 tournament, right?
Yeah.
And how preparation will be going for you with that?
Well, it's good. Normally do my off season training. Go to the gym and do my running and whatever preparation I need to do. To perform to the best of my ability. So far, it's been going good. I've been up and about with the guys. Still doing my fitness training and so. So it's good for the team. But so far, my focus right now is to make sure that the guys are prepared for the 50 overs.
For the 50 overs. Okay, then. All right, guys. Well, I knew you mentioned Emmanuel Stewart. Okay, we do have a pre-recorded session with Emmanuel Stewart. As you know, preparations continue with the team, as we said. Despite the COVID, despite the quarantine, Windward Volcanoes continue their preparations for the Super 50 Cup. And we had some words with Emmanuel Stewart earlier in the week.
Prep been good. It's been difficult for that 7-month lockdown, to get into a routine and program, given that that uncertainty of tournaments and such. But as soon as a date was released by Cricket West Indies, that became easier. Routines for training and workouts became, a bit easier. So I was able to settle into that well. Joining the team, coming from Barbados, from school. It was pretty good fun joining up with the boys, meeting up with the boys again after that duration. So I got straight into the work, and prep been going fine now for the tournament. So I'm just looking forward to it, and looking forward to have a successful tournament for the Windward Islands Volcanoes, and contribute to a wins, and hopefully win the tournament. I think it's more so the mental aspect of my game. I've been doing a lot of work with Dr. Rudy Webster and a few technical changes. You just have to keep evolving all the time, because as batsmen, you have to get better. As bowlers going to get better. Bowlers going to figure out batsmen with so much technology around. So you just have to keep on top of your game. But regardless of the changes that I've been able to make, I still try and keep it as simple as possible, because that's the best way I think one should play the game. And I'm just looking forward to the challenges ahead. I think it's kind of difficult for guys coming from the different territories. We are the Windward Islands, the franchise is based in Grenada. Guys are coming from St. Lucia, St. Vincent, Dominica, and having to gel here as a team. But I think what's important is the fact that we spend a lot of time together, off the field. Guys are spending time in apartments together, getting to know one another off the field. And I think that transcends into the game on the field, and that's been working well for us. So the boys have been gelling well, and I think it's just for us to be clear on our plans and be able to execute on any given day. Yeah, I think it's an important year for cricket in the Caribbean. A lot of teams are touring the Caribbean, so I think what I have control over is my performance, and once I continue controlling that and putting my numbers up, then that's the most I can do. And as long as I continue playing, I will continue putting my focus on those numbers and keep producing for the Windwards and hopefully the West Indies soon. I just want the people of the Windward Islands and the region to keep supporting us. I think we're not too far away from lifting a cup for the region, and I think it's necessary and it's needed for the region to boost our development as players. It's always good to win, because winning is a habit, and we need to get into that habit of winning. So just keep supporting us, and we'll do our best to produce the goods for the region.
The final few words. Just keep supporting us, and we'll do our best. Just keep supporting us, and we will do our best. Kimani, you're prepared to do your best?
Definitely, yes, I'm prepared to do my best for the team as well, and for all the Windwards, for all those Windward Islands, most importantly.
And as he indicated in the start, working with specific individuals, and he called the name Dr. Rudy Webster. You have been working along with Devon, as you said. Anyone else you have been working along with?
Well, I've been working with my coach back home, Art & Craft, and also Kevin Stout. I've been doing a lot of work with me after training. So it's just about, like I said, it's the person, if you want to learn, you would take it and try to do your best at all times.
Okay. All right. Well, I think I just saw he flick up for a while, but I think we lost him again. Probably Andrew is having a little technical problem on his end. His video came up shortly, and just when I was about to go over to him, it went off. I see the guys are smiling, so I think I probably understand, you know. Yeah, but Devon, important enough though, as Emmanuel was saying earlier, you know, it's important for the guys, especially the young ones, in that their upcoming tours, and obviously selectors are looking for players. So it's an important series for the guys. What have you been, you know, what sort of words have you been imparting to these guys in terms of encouraging, motivating them?
Is to, you know, to encourage them to be fearless, you know, be fearless regardless of who, you know. Go there and execute, you know, showcase your talent. You know, there is nothing to be scared about, you know. Never be afraid to fail. You know, being afraid to fail can be your biggest failure. You know, just go there and express yourself and be free. You know, don't put too much pressure on yourself. I mean, yes, you want to perform. I mean, there's tours and things coming up. You know, but once you perform, you know, that will take care of itself. You know, because at the end of the day, it's performance you're looking for. So, you know, you leave that behind about, you know, if you get selected or whatever. You know, just go there and play to the best of your ability. And once you score runs, when you put runs on the board, then anything is possible.
Devon, season after season, you know, you have been performing at the top level in regional cricket. What's on your mind this season? You know, every season there is something probably that you're hoping to achieve. What it is on target for you this season, Devon, with the 4-day tournament?
To be honest, it's just let's say just trying to enjoy my cricket, you know, enjoy my cricket. I'm just trying to be, you know, as cool as come and collective. Just enjoying the cricket and, you know, be around with the youngsters. You know, it really motivate me to, you know, to really do better. You know, they always keep challenging me. You know, they want to compete with me. So with someone competing with me, you know, always push me to the best of my ability. But having said that, you know, I just enjoy scoring runs and, you know, just putting records upon records. So I mean, you know, if I can score 16, 17,000 runs, you know, by the end of my career, then at least I have something to, you know, really look back to and say, all right, you know, let's see who can really challenge me, you know, to break these records. But still, for all, you know, I'm still enjoying the game and, you know, still having fun.
And in retrospect, on reflection, do you believe personally, Devon, that there, in terms of achievement, and obviously anyone who would have achieved would always believe they could achieve more, but do you believe you may have shortchanged yourself to some extent and you probably could have put a little more and probably could have achieved a little more?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, you know, especially like in international, at the international level, you know, I think that I put too much pressure on myself, unnecessary pressure. So I mean, that really have been my downfall. I mean, it's just late in my career, I realized, you know what, you know, just go there and express myself and, you know, forget about who won't drop me or if I don't get picked or whatever, you know, forget what people say, you know, so just go there and try and enjoy myself. But having said that, you know, I really think I could have, you know, done much better.
So you playing cricket now a bit more relaxed, you will say, no amount of pressure on you?
Yeah, I mean, for Windward, I always relax. I always play my game, you know, play my natural game and free up, you know, nothing to worry about. But I'll say at the international level, you know, when I get the opportunity, you know, I should be just doing the same. But having said that, you know, knowing that, you know, if you fail once or twice, you know, the guys quick to drop you, you know. So that was really on my mind. So I had to go there and try and be as careful as possible and try and force myself to really get a score to really stay on the team, you know. But having said that, I think if I could just relax, like how I relaxed when we were playing for Windwards, and just go there and, you know, be myself and just free up, nothing to worry about, then, you know, I really think I could have done much more.
And Kimani, listening to Devon and knowing what has been transpired over the years in terms of West Indies cricket, what amount of pressure do you have, or are you fearful in terms of representing West? Well, and I say West Indies at the highest level because you have played under 19. What amount of fear do you have?
Well, me basically just overthinking the game. If I keep it as simple as possible, because many people have said cricket is a simple game, and that's right. So it's just about keeping it simple for as long as possible, doing the simple things right for as long as possible. If you watch international cricket, all the great players, all the great batsmen are those who have done the simple things for as long as possible. So if I could take that into my game, learn from them, I'm on the right track.
And as a young cricketer, who are some of the international cricketers you look up to?
I look up to Virendra Sehwag and Virat Kohli. I love Virat Kohli. Reason being, he single-handedly win one-day games for his country, and he's a very hard worker, and he's a very dedicated individual.
Okay. Devon, there is a question that came in there. Is record mean more to you than winning? That's a question coming out from Rudian Silvan.
Not really. I mean, regardless of what, you know, you love to win. I mean, winning become a habit. You know, winning become a habit. But having said that, you know, by your performance so consistently, you know, obviously, you know, you have to break records. So with my time now, I think, you know, I'll be looking to set records, you know, and by doing that, you know, I'll be performing to the best of my ability. So obviously we can win games.
Okay. All right, Rudy, and I hope Devon would have satisfied your curiosity. And as he eloquently said, you know, it's all part of it's all part of the process, I should say. You know, sure, in trying to win, you probably will smash some records on the way. Well, let's see now if we can make connection with Coach Andrew Richardson. Belated, but he is on. Coach, good evening to you and welcome.
Good evening, Michael. Good evening, all. Good evening, fellas.
Right. Coach, you know, the guys have been going for the past half an hour, but they have been holding up well. But on the more official side, I would say, Coach, tell us how preparations have been going for Windward Volcanoes during this whole COVID and quarantine period.
Well, first, I must give some credit and commend the Grenada government for the job they are doing on the fight of COVID. I think that whenever there is any sort of community outbreak, they have managed it in a very timely manner. Whenever they have given us, you know, all the new restrictions regarding numbers that are able to participate in practice or even to shut down practice, we have adhered to all those rules and regulations. And I think that, you know, when you look at what's happening around the region, I think Grenada is doing a fairly good job as it regards to, you know, managing what's happening with the whole COVID pandemic. And that has made it, you know, fairly good for us in terms of time that we've been given to prepare for the Super 50. I think that, you know, we might be more blessed than some islands are in terms of, you know, restrictions and what we're able to do. So that itself have given us a fairly good opportunity. Even in December, we got in 6 or 7 games. Probably some teams were struggling to get numbers into practice. So, you know, hopefully we have made the most of our time. The guys are fit and ready to go.
And talking about fit and ready to go, we're referring to the that's the start of the tournament, which is about a week and a half, away. Actually, Sunday, February 7th. What's the frame of mind of the players going into the first game against the Leeward Hurricanes, a team that has been perennial arch rivals for the Volcanoes?
Well, I must commend the players, because whatever challenges that we have been facing for, the most recent times, I must commend the players on the work ethic that they have been consistent with. It is safe to say that no one has come to work and has been complaining about anything, and that is something that I think is a big plus for us. The whole mindset going into the preparation to move into the Super 50 has been fairly good, from our players. And, in terms of our physical condition, it could always be better. But, the guys are working, and, some guys have fallen short in the past in this aspect, but they have been trying their best to put their best forward. You pointed out the Leewards. We are not singling out any team. We want to come out the blocks, fairly good. We want to win every game. We're going to every battle with a winning mindset. The Leewards are our first encounter, and we're going to have to just research, plan, prepare, and on the day execute, and hopefully come up victorious.
Okay. And coach, how it is, or the challenge it is, to get these players to be the players selected without a Windward Islands tournament. As we know, with the COVID and the quarantine and all of that, obviously it would have been difficult to have a tournament. So how it is for the selectors, yourself as a coach and others, the management team, to get the best players to represent the Windward Islands Volcanoes?
It has been a challenge, as you say. We haven't been able, because of COVID, we haven't been able to see everybody, all the players who represent their islands. As I said, we were fortunate in December that, the Volcanoes backroom office, the operations were able to get in a few players. The local boards sent, better players they thought that, could have been suited to break into the squad, or development players that they thought that we could have a look at for the future. So that was the process that was the route we had to take, because we weren't able to have a Windward Islands tournament. So we had to bring in players, for short term, to have a look and see what their skill set are like, if it suits what we are looking for in terms of, if we're looking to fill a particular position in the squad. If, someone comes in and if they look like they could do the job for us. So that's the route that we had to take, barring that we weren't able to have a Windward Islands tournament. I thought it worked fairly well. We got to look at a few players, the ones that were sent here, not the numbers that we would have liked, because the bigger the pool, the more chances there are for you to see better talents. But we made full use of the ones that came here. We made our notes going forward as it relates to who would come back to participate. And, barring COVID, hopefully we find a way to expand the amount of numbers in terms of players coming in and players being looked at. But we try to make the best of the situation as it was brought to us.
About the gelling of the players, coach, and as you indicated, the challenges with COVID and the quarantine and all of that. Do you thought it was easier for the players to concentrate? You had their concentration, or there were some distractions, or the whole circumstances probably was an advantage for you and the coaching staff in getting them to be concentrated, especially with the quarantine?
Look, anybody who has been in quarantine can tell you that it has its challenges. Just the mere fact that you are being restricted, it is
Right.
a challenge for a human to be told you have to be locked in a room for 7 days.
Yeah.
And we have had instances, where players were really itching to come out and they can't. Once we're out, we're working. And as I said, on a daily basis, we'll do our checks, and no player has really complained. Yes, when they're in quarantine, they want to come out, and that is just human nature. But when we come to work, no one complains. Everybody does what is expected of them. And that has been the biggest positive for me in this whole pandemic.
Well, Kimani, you heard the coach, and I'm certain that Kimani loves smiling. You would have taken in some of what the coach has been saying, and I'm assuming that it's now probably the gospel. It's something he has been always saying to you folks. How it has been for you and other players in terms of cooperating with the coaching staff.
Everyone have been gelling fairly well. Going into this tournament with the regulations, the COVID regulations, it's basically the players focusing on what they could control. We have no control over the COVID at this point. So it's just basically we go in there, our main objective is winning. And there are games within the game that we need to win. And if we could win the first 10 overs, the next 10 overs, it's just basically the games within the game, and just try to win for Windward Islands most importantly.
Mm-hmm. All right, and coach, what's about the you spoke in the start in terms of kudos to the administration, the government, in terms of the how they have been able to manage the COVID, etc., etc. What's about the conditions in terms of the playing facilities and what you have available, despite the circumstances with COVID and quarantine and all of that?
There have been days when we have our challenges. There have been days when when it rains, we have to restructure what we had planned to do. The conditions, in the Caribbean, overall, I think if you take out Barbados or even Trinidad, everyone else has their challenges in terms of facility. And we try to make the most of what we're presented with on a daily basis. I will continue to say that our players, have not complained on if we have to restructure our daily plans. So we set our weekly plans, and is there anything that needs to be altered? The guys would find a way to make the best of whatever situation, we're faced with. I think that the ministry here tries to assist us in the best way they can in terms of getting the facility ready for practice and for the games that we play. And, I'd like to commend them on that as well and give them a thank you. And as I say, in the whole Caribbean, there will always be challenges in terms of facilities. We are, yet to catch up with the sort of facilities that we see in England and Australia, those first world countries. It's still a work in progress, but, I cannot fault when a player comes to practice and there's anything that we have to readjust and we carry on in the best manner we can.
Okay. And while you're on that, coach, as you know, we have Devon also on, Devon Smith, and he has been announced as the assistant coach for batting with the team. What do you think Devon brings to the unit, the coaching unit, as a player, as a veteran player himself, in terms of years of experience with the Volcanoes?
Look, what Devon has can't be bought, and that is experience of dominating at this level. He has been prolific for 20 plus years at the regional level. His record speaks for itself. The respect that he gets from all the players, even the staff in the squad, is second to none. He's always helpful. He's always willing to pass on his knowledge and his experiences and information that he has. Devon has been my friend for more than 20 years. We have been playing with and against each other. We have a fantastic relationship, and it's good to see that he is accepted the role of the assistant coach. He's a friend of mine. As I said, we have a wonderful relationship, and he and all players have that same sort of relation, and transferring his knowledge and experience to our lesser experienced players has been good thus far, and it's a real blessing to have him around.
Okay. Well, Devon, you heard it there from the coach himself. Didn't know that you all actually played, together, and it seems as if it's a relationship way back when. So there is a possibility, not the possibility, but obviously some sort of gelling among a unit, especially when you folks, familiar with each other. Devon?
Yeah. As Richie said, I've been knowing Richie over more than 20 years now. We play under 19, and we play for original for quite a while. I haven't said that. Richie has been my friend for a good while. So, and we maintain a relationship. As I said before, it's very good, to work with Richie. The knowledge that he has, and the knowledge that I have, is there to pass on to the youngsters. So I think it make both of us jobs, more easier, because of the relationship that we have and the communication that we have. So make our work easier.
And Devon, the coach mentioned, which I think is a very important point regarding whether or not concentrate on the Leeward. He considers each of the teams with some level of merit. So whether it's the Hurricanes, whether it's the Pride, whoever it is, that once they come up against the Volcanoes, you take them as with some level of merit. You who have been playing for quite a while and playing against these teams for quite a while, and some of these players for quite a while too, what it is, so you will tell your players, along with Coach Andrew, what it is you will tell your players, especially the young players, and some of them who are playing for the very first time at that level.
Yeah, I think that, when I just started my career playing for Windwards, and they used to think about, when you think about Windwards, you talk about they playing points, which means, when you talk about Windwards, it's about points. So having said that, the winning become a habit, we continue playing, winning games, winning games off and on, winning game off and on, then start winning the championship, and so people start respecting us a little more, whenever it's about Windwards right now, it's not about points no more. You have to put your best foot forward and think about, okay, well, you have extra players, and, you have to go there and think about what players you have, who you have to deal with. Before time we had Johnson, Charles, we had Fletcher, we had Les Perez, we had a couple of the guys, who can go there and dominate, so not about no points again. You come and you put up a fight, and then the best team wins.
Okay. Well, actually, let me see. Yeah. Regarding the question I was asked earlier in the program, Rudion is saying I asked because it said a lot about a player mindset at a game, the team itself, to me, working, bring records. And he said he believes that your answer do help young one up and coming. Thanks, Rudion, for your question and the answer from Devon regarding that. Thank you very much. Back to if we go back to Coach Devon mentioned the likes of Johnson Charles and Fletcher and others. No doubt, you know, you have to do with what you have. Do you think the Windwards probably would have had not so much of a better chance, but a stronger team with the likes of some of these players who are not available?
Whatever international player that comes in a setup always brings something positive to that setup, or is expected to bring something from that level that they are coming from into the first class level. And that in itself should answer that question. If a player from a higher level comes and play at a level and is seen as to be a little bit more, we expect that level of professionalism and performance. So if we had those players in our ranks, probably would have made it a little bit more relaxed in terms of training. However, it gives a good opportunity for the players that have been given the chance to represent the Windwards to put their best foot forward and stake a claim and make a name for themselves in the process of winning the Super 50.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Well said, Coach. Well, while you were off, and someone is just asking about the other players, and we had Emmanuel Stewart a bit earlier. No doubt the Windward Volcanoes, as announced earlier in the week, the team has been selected. Yourself as the coach, and the players who will be making the journey to Antigua for the tournament, where the tournament actually will be held, starting on the 7th, and the Windward Volcanoes playing the Leeward Hurricanes in the opening game. That's on the 7th. Actually, it's Independence Day for Grenada. So we're hoping that the guys can probably bring home something. But just before we go back to the whole conversation, earlier today, the West Indies coach, Phil Simmons, held a presser. And as you know, the West Indies playing Bangladesh. They're getting ready for the start of the test series. And they have a warm-up game coming up. And Coach Simmons spoke to the press where he provided some information on the team regarding the test series. Let's get to Phil Simmons, and then we get back to the discussion.
Good day, Coach. What will you be looking for from the batsmen and the bowlers in this warm-up match?
I think the main thing you're looking for is a thought, an understanding of how they're going to bat in these upcoming games, and they're trying to put their plans into place. I'm sure every one of them, as they told us, have their own plans of how they're going to play the spin, how they're going to play the fast bowlers, how they're going to get runs. So it's up to them in this 3-day game to just try and put things together and make sure that they know exactly how they're going to score when the time comes. As for the bowling, it's about knowing and learning how to bowl on these wickets. Everywhere you're going to bowl is different lengths, different lines, and if the wicket is flat, you have to know what you want to do. So they have to be able to get what they want out of the game, but also understand conditions and know how to adjust.
There are no left-arm spinners in the Bangladesh lineup. Is that similar to them coming to the Caribbean and you playing no pacers?
Exactly. I want to give us a chance to see how we fare against them, but we know we're going to have at least 2 in the test squad. But that's how things work. That's called home advantage, and we've got to just work with that.
How would you compare the experience contained in this test side with players like Roach, Gabriel and Brathwaite to that of the ODI side?
It's a big difference. You may have maybe 2 debutants in this test series, whereas you had 10 in the ODI series. So it's a huge difference. And the good thing is that the guys you call there, and maybe a couple others, have been down here before. The last tour down here, Craig was captain again. Shannon and Rochi were down here. So it's good to have that kind of experience going into a test series.
How are your batsmen preparing in training to deal with the Bangladesh spinners?
Facing as much of our spinners and the net bowlers as possible, and just trying to work out exactly what they have to do to play against the Bangladesh spinners.
with 3 high-quality seamers in your team, Roach, Gabriel and Joseph, but the pitch is likely to be spin-friendly, and Bangladesh not so comfortable with pace and bounce. Do you think that the Pacers can be effective in this series?
Well, a wicket is only as easy as you. A wicket is only as easy as you make it out to be. I've seen flat wickets where fast bowlers were made to look like if it's the quickest thing in the world. So it's what the mind of the fast bowlers tell them and how much they put in there, they will get out of it.
And with those 3 players being available, do you think that you will play all 3, or will you make the tough decision of leaving one out?
Well, we'll have to wait till the time comes and then we'll see. But as for tomorrow, everybody will get a chance and we'll see what everyone brings to the table. And then we can make a decision for the test match.
There's some competitive test matches being played around the world in recent weeks. Do you think that this series will live up to that hype?
Well, if we play to our potential, if we play and really plan and work hard during the game, then it can be that. I think that they know that it's not going to be as easy as the ODI series, but we've still got to play properly.
Thanks, Coach.
No problem.
Yes, so that was actually the West Indies coach Phil Simmons with his match preview for the West Indies versus the Bangladesh Cricket Board 11. That's a warm-up game. And actually the match begins Friday, Eastern Caribbean time, I guess. It will be Friday. The match begins 9:30 a.m. 29 in Bangladesh, which is actually tonight, later tonight, Bangladesh, yeah. So it's 9:30 Bangladesh time, which is about 11:30 Thursday, Eastern Caribbean time. So later tonight, the match against the Bangladesh Cricket Board 11 and Coach Phil Simmons speaking there. Also, may I just tell you before we continue that it was announced today that the Cricket West Indies and ESPN Plus, they signed an agreement for coverage of, they call it a groundbreaking 5-year USA media rights with Windies cricket. So what it actually means is that West Indies cricket will be shown, domestic and international, will be shown on ESPN Plus for the next 5 years, a new agreement with Cricket West Indies. So it's an opportunity for the cricketers in the region for their talent to be exposed, and especially with the situation regarding COVID and the restrictions on fans in the stands. It appears that a lot of cricket will be shown on TV and the opportunity for more people to see our young talents. Coach, the question to you now is that on a broader scale regarding West Indies, regarding young cricketers, and you yourself would have played around the region. You would have played cricket representing Jamaica, representing around the region, as I indicated. What it is, or what it would take, Coach, for us to, and I don't want to, as so quickly Ambrose was saying earlier this week, we try to do a lot of comparison of our players now to our players probably 20 years ago. But what do you think it will take for West Indies cricket to return to the level, to the, that plateau, that area that we once knew West Indies, and we know that West Indies can, with the sort of talent we have in the region? But what do you think it will take for West Indies to regain that that level of ascendancy in international cricket?
One, Michael, it would take financing. As you can see, it's probably a correlation that the boards that have the luxury of having, more coaches employed, better facilities, more players on contracts, more camps, more ATU tours, more money invested in development. You know, the countries that have been ticking those boxes seem to have been doing well. You know, case in point, India has a whole academy just for fast bowling.
Wow.
So, you know, it's tough for us to compare with the 80s as to now. In the 80s, not to knock anything from the Lloyd and Viv Richards era, we had awesome talent. And during that time, you know, if you check the history, most teams were setting up their academies, you know, to improve their cricket. And we didn't set up our academy until 2000, 2001. So, you know, they have been reaping the success of what they have put in. And again, I said there must be some correlation as it regards to the finances, you know, and putting systems in place, you know, to oversee every small detail as it regards to improving and making the whole cricket structure and to get performances, to get your team back to the top. We do have talent, because if you look at our under-19 records at all the World Cup, from 2000 until now, we have found ways to get to, it's probably 1 or 2 World Cups that we have found ways to get into the semi-finals. And, you know, that in itself shows that we have talent. But there is, you know, there's a gap that has to be bridged from the under-19 level to the age of 23. A lot has been done with the natural talent that we have if you look at our age group cricket record, but we need to find ways to bridge that gap.
An important point made is, Coach. A question to you here is that, Coach, what standard do you keep the players to on and off the field? A question coming in.
Well, look, I have outlined many times what is going to take statistically, you know, for us to win tournaments. We do try our best to meet those standards. We identify players who we do expect a certain level of standard of performance from. We hold in high regard, you know, and the work that they put in order to meet those standards. Off the field, it's tough for me to tell you that I can tell you what's happening with a player that lives in St. Patrick when he leaves my confines of practice. So when you say, you know, you hold the players to this on and off the field, as long as they come to work every day full of energy, focused and ready to go, I can't give a count for when a man goes home in the evening. But when he's at work, if he puts in 110% all the time to make himself a better player, not just physically, but mentally as well, that's all I can ask for.
Yes, Coach. I love that answer. I love the analogy. When a player goes to a place like St. Patrick, Devon, man from St. Patrick.
It's never a knock on Devon.
Yeah, I know. St. Patrick came to mind first, so you use it. Yeah, very much so. But I think the point is made. And just you know, we get in time. We actually have to wrap up now. But the point you were making about the finance and all of that, I think it was important and probably is a nice segue to end the program too. But with the new arrangement being made with CWI and ESPN Plus, obviously we don't know the whole details in terms of the financial aspect of it. Let's hope that there is some sort of financial win. But what do you think it offers to players in terms of exposure and things like that? So.
Well, look, we have how many players in T10? We have more than 20 players playing in the T10 tournament. So, and Super 50 has been on ESPN for quite a number of years now. So, and games have been streamed online, games are on YouTube. I personally can tell you that we were playing in December in our practice games, and I got a phone call, about information from one of a player playing in a game from somebody in India. So, ESPN reaches a broad and wide audience, and it can only serve good for the exposure of talent in the Caribbean.
Okay, that's good. As we get ready to wrap up, we'll go with Kimani first. The coach will end. Kimani, any final words? What it is, the frame of mind, getting ready for the start of the tournament, the Super 50 tournament?
Yes, definitely. Like I said, we have been gelling together as a team. The main focus is when we arrive in Antigua. What we do, both on and off the field, really matters. And like I said again, there are games within the game that needs to be won. So it's just basically players thinking at the crunch time, when crunch time approaches, who will put their hands up and take a brilliant catch, who will put their hands up and take a crucial wicket for the team, or build a crucial partnership and win the game for the team. So it's just basically thinking both mentally and physically and executing for Windward Islands.
Okay. And Devon, some parting words from you as the assistant coach, looking forward to the tournament this year?
Yeah, Mike. Said, the guys are 90% ready for the tournament. Whenever the bell ring, I think the guys be ready. You guys will be ready. We have a practice tomorrow. Let's see how that goes, and let's be ready on the 7th. Which is Independence Day. I feel we should hit the road running. Once you come off a victory, then everything will be fine. Having said that, Mikey, opening at Devon Smith Cricket Academy in St. Patrick's. So I would just like it to kind of broadcast it and let the people know. There is no more grassroots program for the time. So in the meantime, I know we have a lot of youngsters or young kids, who would be very interested in playing cricket and whatever. So I guess you go open Devon Smith Cricket Academy in St. Patrick's.
Oh, that's nice. We'll have to talk more about that. Congratulations, Devon. Coach, from you, what obviously you'll be telling the guys in the next few days leading up to the tournament? They will be expecting a lot in terms of motivation, in terms of getting themselves, mentally ready.
The last few weeks have been just fine-tuning. And, when the whistle blow, we'll be ready. The teams that we're playing against, they're practicing to come hard at us. It is just a matter of putting solid plans in place and executing on the day.
All right. Well, it's very nice to hear that. And just for the folks, let me give you the information again. Sunil Ambris is the captain of the team. There is Andrew Fletcher, who is actually who's playing in the T10 tournament. She'll be back as vice captain. Let me see. Do I have it correct? Yeah, I do have it correct. Ray Jordan, Alec Athens, Desron Maloney, Roland Cato, Obed McCoy, Kieran Kotoy, Preston Maxine, Kenneth Demba, Kimani Melius, Larry Edward, Emmanuel Stewart as a wicketkeeper, Ryan John, and Kevin Stout. Andrew Richardson is the head coach. Floyd Reefer is the consultant. Devon Smith, assistant coach. Martin, Mario Christopher, the physio, and Avanish Sitaram is the performance analyst. as that will make up the squad for the Windward Islands Volcanoes for the CG Insurance Super Cup final in Antigua, starting on February 7th. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you for Coach Devon, that's Coach Andrew, Devon Smith, Kimani Melius. Thank you for being part of the program. And Devon, I want to wish you all the best with the Cricket Academy. And probably Coach Andrew may be able to probably give you some assistance in the very near future with the academy.
I need that to right away.
I'm coming right now.
All right.
All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
All right. Good man.
Okay then. Yeah.
Thanks, Michael. Enjoy.
Okay then. Thank you. All right. Yeah. So, folks, no doubt, Coach Andrew Richardson. Then we have Devon Smith, who is the assistant coach. His concentration will be on batting, and Kimani Melius, who is it's opening batsman. He's indicated part of the setup, and they'll all be be part of the Windward Islands Volcanoes setup for the Super50 Cup. And as coach indicated, while they do have some challenges, fairly satisfied with the preparations of the team for the tournament, and looking forward to it against the opening match, I should say, against the Leeward Hurricanes on the 7th, Sunday, the 7th of February. I think it's maybe, depending on the time, maybe a day, depending on the venue, the venue in Antigua, whether it's the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium or the Coleridge Stadium, it may be a day or night game. If it's a day game, it starts at 9:30 in the morning. If it's a day-night game, I think it starts about 1:30 in the afternoon. We'll get a time for you, and no doubt we're looking forward to that opening game against the Leeward Hurricanes, the Leeward Islands Hurricanes, on Sunday, February 7th. Well, thank you for joining us. Don't forget our Saturday Sports Special return on Saturday at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. That will be 2 o'clock Eastern Caribbean Time. Do join us for our program where we'll be focusing hopefully on club structure. This time we want to spend some time on clubs and their club structure. No doubt. One footnote though, the Grenada Netball Association was expected to stage its annual general meeting today, and we expect a new executive because the president, Glenys Roberts, the incumbent, she did not seek re-election, so we expect a new executive. And most of the other executive members did not seek re-election to executive position on the Grenada Netball Association. So we expect a new executive for the Netball Association and going forward, and we'll have more information on that. So folks, thank you for joining us. And until Saturday at 1 o'clock Eastern Time, 2 o'clock Eastern Caribbean Time, we expect you to join us. Just before we go, just one comment. Nice to hear Devon. That will be great giving back in opening his cricket academy. Thank you, Sherlon. No doubt we want to wish Devon all the best. It's nice to hear that Devon is doing something in the Northern Parish. He is from St. Patrick, lived all his life in St. Patrick, and no doubt he is doing something, and we want to support Devon, and we no doubt will be speaking to Devon more about this cricket academy in the north of St. Patrick, and we want to provide that level of support to Devon Smith. Thank you once again, folks, and do remember to join us on Saturday at 1 o'clock Eastern Time for another in the Saturday Sports Special.